Ready to call the meeting? Call the meeting to order. Tuesday, July 16, 2024. It's 7:01 PM, City of Somerton regular council meeting. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Gerardo Anaya,
Present.
Vice Mayor Luis Galindo,
Present.
Jesus Roldan,
Present.
Councilmember Miguel Villalpando,
Present.
Councilmember Juan Castillo,
Present.
Councilmember Marta Gonzalez,
Present.
Councilmember Lorena Delgadillo.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Gonna move on, call to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to address council?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. I'm pleased to introduce Brandy Brookins, our new grant writer, who has been a valuable addition to our city for the past 2 months. Brandy brings with her a wealth of experience spanning 19 years in finance and administration, with a strong focus on project management within the construction industry. Since joining us, Brandy has hit the ground running. She has diligently engaged with our department directors, conducted comprehensive reviews of our existing grants, and initiated efforts in identifying new grant opportunities that align with our city goals and priorities. Her extensive background in project administration, coupled with her commitment to expand her expertise in grant writing, makes her an asset to our team. Her proactive approach is already making a positive impact on our community. So I'm pleased to welcome Brandy Brookins.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me, and I'm happy to be a part of the team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else from the public? There's no one. We're gonna move on to consent agenda, approval of resolution number 2024-017. Does any member of council want to remove the item from consent agenda? Is there a motion?
So moved, Mayor. Second?
There's a motion by Vice Mayor Galindo. Second
Mayor.
by Councilman Roldan.
Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. So is the council there? The attorney?
Trish, are you online?
Yes, Mayor and Council, I'm here.
Yeah, there was a consent agenda item, and there was it was requested by council members they wanted to remove. There was a motion to approve, a second. It went through, but it wasn't unanimous. Is that good with the consent agenda?
Yes, that's fine. It doesn't need to be unanimous. A majority can approve it.
Okay, thank you. We have two presentations. Presentation related to potential amendment to zoning regulations for shade structures.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Saul Albor, Community Development Director. The item before you on the agenda is a presentation related to potential amendments to zoning regulations for shade structures within the required building setbacks. Mayor and Council, this is a topic that has been a subject of discussion here in the city for quite some time now. We see that residents are increasingly wishing to place shade structures in parts of their yards where they are currently prohibited by the code. And it was directed to us by the city manager and by the city council to look into options for what we can do to perhaps grant some flexibility to the residents regarding this topic. So therefore, staff has prepared a presentation for you tonight. At this time, I'd like to invite our planner, Raul Ornelas, who has taken the lead on this project and has done the bulk of the research to present this to you tonight.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Raul Ornelas, Planner One. Can you zoom out? As Saul was mentioning, we got assigned to this task. We have some potential options to present. We are attempting to seek guidance from Mayor and Council on how to approach this request that I have been receiving day after day. I have been receiving phone calls from the residents expressing their concerns to attempt to build and to install shade structures. But mostly they are trying to put them on the setbacks, whether it's the front setback, side setback, or the rear setback. As of right now, can you scroll down a little bit, Andrea? Another one. As of right now, that's our current codes. Typically, on residential areas, we have a front setback of 20 feet, then a side setback of 7 feet, and then a rear setback of 10 feet. So right now, there's nothing that can be built, on those setbacks of the property. Obviously, there's some minor modifications that they can acquire in order to, approach and build more closely on that. However, the current code, it is very tight on this type of structures, of shade structures. That's why we are seeking the guidance. We have prepared some options for you, Mayor and Council, to consider. We have been approaching all other municipalities, also looking for information to present to you. If you can go up a little bit, Andrea. Another one. As you guys see, Mayor and Council, the existing requirement, that's basically what the current code tells us. As you can see on the outline, where it says buildable area, that's basically where a resident of Somerton on a residence can put, their house, a little patio. However, the request that we have received from the residents also, they are expressing this concern to try to build something on the side to, cover from that heat and maybe cover their assets that they have, whether it's a UTV or a vehicle or something. However, we are very strict with those regulations. We know for a fact that there are some safety concerns also. We have reached also the fire department asking for guidance to follow those codes, but not only fire, also building safety codes. Any questions so far before I start presenting the potential options that staff is proposing? It's basically presenting to Mayor and Council.
I have a question here.
Yes, go ahead, Councilman.
Can you elaborate on the safety concerns that you mentioned regarding some of these?
There's some space that or personnel from safety, whether it's police department or fire department, needs to have some sort of access from the side in case that there's an emergency or something to help and respond to that emergency. Okay. So that's part of it. Obviously, the rules have changed, and some updates. I'm pretty sure that they have been to their codes throughout the years. And we have been seeing that's what we are trying to see, how can we accommodate this request from the residents.
Just a couple. Go ahead, continue.
So we see the potential option number one that staff has, it's presenting to mayor and council is to remain untouched the front setback, nothing, nothing as of shade structure on the front setback, but a reduction from 7 feet on the side setback to 3 feet. On top of that, a reduction of 5 feet on the rear setback. As you can see, that gives more room for them to build. However,
Is there a drawing on that one? The one that you're describing, 3 and 7? It's not showing here. is it?
yeah,
It's, okay, so it's 3 on both sides, reducing it from 7 to 3 on both sides?
yes. And then on the back, from 10 feet to 5 feet. That's one of the first options that we staff have explored, and we are presenting to mayor and council. I'm going to be continuing with option number 2. Option number 2 is a little bit more drastically a reduction of the side setback of from 7 to 1 feet, and then on the rear setback from 10 to 3 feet. Not only that, residents might be allowed to build on the front setback, but only on the front of the driveway. A reduction from 20 feet to 10 feet. And they to able to accommodate any type of asset that they are trying to, to cover from the heat. You can go down. A third option that we have explored, it is technically the same from number 2, but giving let one side setback clear, leave it as it is from 7 feet or maybe 5 feet on some residential districts. Continue with that reduction on the rear setback from 10 to 3 feet, and then a reduction on whichever side the resident choose from 7 feet to 1 feet, and as well as the front setback, but only they are going to be able to build on the front of the driveway from 20 to 10 feet. That's basically to set the tone and have a baseline to have this conversation. And mayor and council, as of right now, we are also in the update of our zoning ordinance code, and this will be a good opportunity to attempt to implement something regarding shade structures and maybe put it over there on the zoning ordinance code that we are contemplating to update. Any questions, concerns?
I have one.
Councilman, go ahead.
On option number 2, let's say if there was an emergency, would that meet the emergency requirements if there was an emergency in the back patio of a residence?
Technically, it will be dependent on what type of material they are building it. That's one. We know for a fact that there's another municipality that is very similar concept. We also kind of like did a little bit of benchmarking on that extent. Again, Councilman Castillo, I don't have that answer as of right now on top of my head, but that's why staff is trying to give this approach, collect that feedback, and then start moving forward. I'm gonna be taking note of that.
Mayor, for me?
Yes.
I remember that the fire department had mentioned something about access and safety points, what they were requesting. Can you address that?
Yes, Councilmember Castillo. The option that was discussed with the fire department would their preferred option would be option number one, leaving that 3-foot clearance. And that is per code, per their adopted NFPA code. So that would be their preferred option. Option number two and option number three have not been closely discussed with the fire department. If it was council's direction and wish for us to look into those options, then we could do a bit more of a technical analysis on those. But as of this moment, we haven't discussed options 2 or 3 with the fire department, but they are on the table for discussion.
Councilman Villalpando.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess for me, I wouldn't mind the potential option number one, but also like staff mentioned, is probably look at the type of material that we use. Of course, a wooden structure would probably jump to a home much easily than, let's say, a metal structure.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you mentioned that, and I'm glad that you guys are looking into it. Because quite honestly, as long as there's enough clearance for the fire department to do their thing, then it shouldn't be, at least for me, it's not an issue. I do like the fact maybe we could do a hybrid combination of 1 and 2, because on the rear, away from the home, why not go to the 1 foot so people can develop their shades? Let's say they have a pool back there.
Yeah.
More likely they have them near the wall.
Mhm.
And the 1 foot would allow for a shade to be built that's kind of away from the main structures. And so, see, option number 3, see how they have all the way to the 1 foot. And maybe a hybrid between option 1 and 3, as far as the back's concerned, would probably work out. And the one thing that I do have a concern is in the front. I don't know, because at least for my home, I found out that it's a 8 foot, it's an 8 foot, what do you call it? Easement, yeah, utility easement in the front. So without me knowing prior to that, let's say I would have gotten a permit, I probably would have built it all as far as you allowed me to. So I think we need to be careful when we could probably put maybe some language up to no further than the easement.
Mhm.
You know, and it's, if they go beyond the easement, it's pretty much at their own risk.
Mhm.
But I think whoever pulls that permit should be made aware of that.
Yeah, Councilman Villalpando, thank you for that feedback. And that's specifically what we are looking for, guidance. How we approach and set up the regulations for the residents and make them as clear as possible, because there's a lot of misinformation as of right now. I've been receiving calls from residents, hey, can I put this shade structure? Hey, but I have this company that it will be putting it in 1 day and without a permit, without the fabric mesh being fire retardant, or even the structure itself. And that's something that we are trying to be very careful with. Obviously, there's a lot of more combinations that we'll take into consideration, whether lot coverage, things like that we can regulate to help out the residents to build this.
Yeah, no, and on my behalf, you know, I really appreciate all your hard work. It's something that obviously the community wants and supports, but it has to be done in a fashion where it's a nice addition to the home, not necessarily one of those prefab or a pop-up put out there in the front yard, you know.
I agree 100%.
So no, I appreciate all your hard work. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? At least for me, that, like I said, it's just a hybrid between option 3 and maybe the setbacks, the 7 foot maybe reduced to 3, so to allow for fire access. And the back, we do 1 foot right there. Maybe well, what we're gonna have to look is the pitch of the roof and make sure that it doesn't go into the neighbor's yard, and that's something I think that needs to be in the in the code. But you know, and of course, we've heard it to be allowable, but it needs to be engineered and safe, and
That's right.
make sure that. But we want to be as flexible as possible in order to, we are a off-road community. A lot of people have off-road vehicles or other types of vehicles
Mhm.
and yeah, well, we have some standards that aesthetically it looks good and it's safe. I think it's good. Just present a couple of the options you heard from council, what we want, the flexibility and of course, being safe and bring it back. Councilman Delgadillo.
Thank you.
I have a question. As Mayor's mentioned about the aesthetic and so is Councilmember Villalpando. So in the ordinance, you'll have those regulations as far as what it will look like or what is allowed?
Councilman Delgadillo, thank you for your comment. As of right now, we don't have, let's say, a guide of the type of materials, but we are in the right time, in the right spot to implement this and put it on our city zoning ordinance code. As we are in that transition to make the updates, I think it's a key time, a key moment to move forward. And if we are gonna go ahead in this direction, put over there other regulations that it needs to be of this type of material, this type in a harmonious way of the neighborhood and also of your house.
So would that include getting direction from fire as far as like the flammable materials and stuff like
Correct.
that?
The type of material, and not only to fire, also to comply with building safety code standards also.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
That concludes our presentation. Thank you. And you guys are gonna be hearing from us soon regarding an update on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council.
Item 612, introduction of forefront new executive director, Remy Martinez.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jasmine Samudio, Economic Development. Forefront AD is an organization Somerton is a part of. It plays a critical role in our binational relationships with our neighboring countries. Here to present the new executive director, Remy Martinez. Remy, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening. Well, council members, Marta Gonzalez, Miguel Villalpando, Lorena Delgadillo, Jesus Roldán, Juan Castillo, Vice Mayor Luis Galindo, and Mayor Jerry Anaya. Good afternoon. I'm grateful for the invitation to speak with you today. I'm here to present the Forefront ED program and discuss its potential to drive sustainable, equitable growth for Somerton. This program takes a truly innovative angle, focuses on 4 frontiers for development. That is why I stand before you today with a deep sense of pride and optimism for the future of Somerton. A city steeped in rich agriculture heritage and blessed with a vibrant, diverse community and already on a path of growing and prosperity. Somerton history is a testament to resilience, determination, and unwavering spirit. From humble beginnings as a small agricultural settlement to the current status as a growing hub for commerce and culture, Somerton has always been a place where dreams take flight, built on values of hard work, community, and deep connections to the land. We're living in an era of unprecedented social and technological transformation. These changes present both challenges and immense opportunities. Our unique location at the crossroads of 2 nations, United States and Mexico, and 4 states, Arizona, Sonora, California, and Baja California, positioned us to harness these changes for the greater good of our communities. And I'm hopeful by next year, we have alliance with other states. The Forefront ED initiative is undoubtedly an innovative idea, which will seek to find in this unique position the resources that come from borders, which far from being a barrier, are more like a bridge, an asset for our region. On both a personal and professional level, I consider it a privilege to collaborate with you in this endeavor. I deeply appreciate the city's commitment of resources and willingness to embrace this program, as I firmly believe it aligns with our shared vision for a prosperous future. Somerton economic landscape is evolving rapidly. We're witnessing a surge in new business, education, infrastructure, cotoros, real estate, and a burgeoning tourism industry, and a growing demand for skilled labor. This economic momentum is a testament to the entrepreneurial spirit and the unwavering work ethics of our residents. That is why we must continue to invest in our infrastructure, support our local business, and attract new industries to our city. We must also ensure that our workforce is equipped with the skills and knowledge necessary to thrive in this 21st century economy. The new Forefront Initiative provides a framework to achieve these goals through collaboration and a strategic partnership. I believe Somerton is uniquely positioned to benefit from the economic dynamism of this binational region. The Forefront ED initiative here in Somerton is led by an active members of the governing board, Mayor Garcia, your own city manager, Lou Galaviz, with the help of Economic Development Director, Jasmine Zamudio. As a member of Forefront ED region, Somerton has the opportunity to collaborate with our neighbors across the border to create a more prosperous and interconnected region. We can leverage our collective strengths to attract new business and expand trade and create a prosperous environment for your residents. The new Foreign ED is designed to champion each community it encompasses, fostering collaboration with both public and private partners. By transcending borders, we strive to transform these boundaries from barriers into bridges, unlocking the full potential of our shared resources and creating a united and prosperous future. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Do you have any questions? ¿Alguna pregunta?
I have a quick question, Dr. Remy.
Yeah.
What specific projects is Forefronted working that?
Right now?
That quite honestly we can share with the community saying, hey, you know what, let's keep on supporting Forefronted because they are working on these projects that'll benefit not only Somerton, the whole entire Yuma County, but I guess in a direct way, yes, Somerton, because if we are providing funding, which I assume we are,
yeah,
we got to see an investment. I mean, a return on our investment. So
Yes.
is there specific projects that you can identify that you guys are working on?
Sí, can I answer in Spanish?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yes, go ahead.
Bien. Primero que nada, yo creo que es una muy justa pregunta respecto al uso de los recursos que se le dedican a esta iniciativa que fondean tanto el condado de Yuma como la ciudad de San Luis, como Somerton, como la ciudad de Yuma. Una de las partes o de las direcciones que me dio el Governor Board es trabajar precisamente en encontrar esas oportunidades que se encuentran tanto en California, Sonora, en proximidad. Mi acercamiento inicial es hacer vamos a decir, una lista o un mapeo de los principales activos de la región, siendo uno de los principales el puerto de cruce fronterizo San Luis II, como una entrada regional importante tanto para incrementar su flujo como para promover la inversión aquí mismo en la región. En lo muy particular de Somerton, es muy notorio que hay un incremento, un crecimiento importante en real estate, ¿no? En el crecimiento de casas, el punto de desarrollo que tienen con el nuevo high school que han desarrollado aquí, también como la generación de, vamos a decir, de riqueza para la comunidad y adicionalmente la oportunidad de hacer crecer esos importantes activos laborales para la misma comunidad. Entonces, parte de mi trabajo es promover a las 4 entidades dentro de los 2 espacios que tengo en México. Uno es Sonora y el otro es Baja California. Mis principales pasos, mi inicial paso fue la presentación con el municipio de San Luis Río Colorado y con sus nuevas autoridades, así como la alcalde reelecta de Mexicali en la semana pasada, e iniciar el trabajo también de cabildeo con congresistas y senadores en México. Parte creo que es importante de esta representación que me da el Forefront ED es representarlos ustedes precisamente con actores políticos en México que son fundamentales precisamente, número uno, para la atracción de presupuestos e inversión al puerto fronterizo, a la expansión del puerto fronterizo de San Luis I, que nos va a ayudar a todos. Y número dos, incrementar también el diálogo con inversionistas de esas dos localidades. Precisamente ya organizaciones de Sonora, he estado ya en contacto con ellos, Secretaria de Economía del Estado de Sonora, Sonora Global y otras, hablando de las oportunidades de crecimiento de esta región. Sonora actualmente tiene un proyecto de energía renovable tanto en Puerto Peñasco y en la región de Caborca con los agricultores, y algo que les ha llamado la atención es este puerto de entrada tan importante. Entonces, véalo como una representación compartida de las cuatro entidades y la visión de integrar alianzas con estas comunidades cercanas. No voy a dejar de lado lo que está pasando en Imperial Valley, que es parte también de mis objetivos de trabajo regional, precisamente porque hay mucho potencial respecto al tema de la explotación de litio, las posibles industrias que se están desarrollando ahí, y estamos convencidos que lo que le vaya bien a los vecinos también es de beneficio para nosotros. Tengo un contacto cercano con el Governing Board del Forefront ED para hacerles llegar la información, y asimismo estoy en la total disposición de poder asistirlos en dudas o preguntas específicas sobre cualquiera de estos temas binacionales o fronterizos con los estados vecinos. Entonces, yo lo veo como una, vamos a decir, una representación y como bien lo dice el apellido del Forefront ED, como una organización de desarrollo económico complementaria a los esfuerzos que ya hacen actualmente. Entonces, espero traerle yo proyectos específicos para Somerton y a estarles informando de forma muy puntual de este trabajo.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
Okay.
Moving on to old business, discussion and possible action to approve second reading by title only of ordinance number 2024-003.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Saul Albor, Community Development Director for the City of Somerton. This is the item before you on the agenda is discussion and possible action to approve the second reading by title only of ordinance number 2024-003. Mayor and Council, this is the ordinance that finalizes the rezoning of APN 7522222 from Ag 20 to R15 Single Family Residential. So this is the parcel for the future Las Estrellas Phase 8 subdivision. At the previous council meeting on July 9th, council did approve the first reading by title only. A second reading is required to finalize this rezoning, and the rezoning would take effect 30 days from today. If there are no further questions, staff tonight is asking for council to approve the second reading of ordinance number 2024-003 by title only.
Any questions or comments? There a motion to approve second reading by title only of ordinance number 2024-003.
So moved, Mayor.
A motion by Vice Mayor Galindo,
Second.
second by Councilman Roldan. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is ordinance number 2024-003, an ordinance of the City of Somerton, amending ordinance number 2015-002, and rezoning certain areas in the city for real property described as APN 75222-002, a 35.83 acre parcel, more or less, and more particularly described in Exhibit A from attached here too, from Ag 20 agriculture minimum lot size 20 acres to R15 single family residential minimum lot size 5,000 square feet.
Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 2024-003?
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 2024-003.
A motion by Councilman Castillo,
I'll second that, Mayor.
second by Councilman Roldan. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Moving on to new business, discussion and possible action to approve implementation of new office hours for City Hall and other facilities.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Carmen Juarez, Deputy City Manager. The item before you tonight is the request for discussion and possible action to approve the implementation of new office hours for City Hall. Excuse me, for City Hall and other facilities. What we are requesting tonight is for you to allow us a 6-month trial period for these new hours. And the purpose of this is to provide an alternative work hours option for city employees without compromising the level of service that is already established. The proposed schedule is only for employees who are outside the scope of work instituted for public works, not for public works, for public safety facility, which is police and fire department. The alternative work schedules are becoming more and more attractive to many cities and towns as a way to recruit and retain talent. That's the reason why we are here before you tonight. Our budget constraints prevent us from offering competitive salaries, hiring qualified employees for city positions, and exploring available options. The question is, how can the city incentivize our employees and make employment more attractive? The recommendation that we have for you tonight is for the city to adapt and remain competitive on this approach. So as we have looked around our municipalities, we see more and more of our neighbors and other municipalities across the state and the nation that are becoming into this new schedule, new alternative schedule. So tonight we are proposing this transition period. The procedure first will become effective August 12, 2024. The transition period, we're talking about 3 weeks where we are going to do a notification for city residents. We'll use the monthly statements, the social media, website, flyers, and posters to do that. And what is being proposed is for City Hall, the hours of operation on a bi-weekly basis to be for the week 1, Monday through Thursday from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and on Fridays from 7:30 to 4:30 p.m. And on week 2 of that pay period, Monday through Thursday from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and being closed on Fridays. We have other facilities that will also be accommodating these hours of operations. For example, police and fire, the administrative staff will follow the same schedule as City Hall. The Somerton Municipal Court will also file the same schedule pending approval of the presiding judge of Yuma County. Judge Torok is working with the presiding judge and she's waiting for the resolution on that. If they approve it, they will become part of this trial period. If it's not approved, they will continue with the same schedule as they have it today. For Public Works and Parks and Recreation departments outside the administrative staff, they will also follow the same schedule as City Hall, and the on-call employees that normally attends to calls on Saturday and Sundays will also be available on Fridays when it's a dark Friday. Sanitation schedule will not change. We'll continue having the same schedule as we do right now. Swimming pool and other facilities will maintain their current schedule. Desert Valley Senior Center will maintain the current days and hours of operation from Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. So this is what we have for you tonight. The recommendation is for council to review and approve a 6-month trial period from August 2024 to February 2025. And during this time, we will be monitoring the hours. We will be doing some metrics for employees, hourly employees and exempt employees. So we want this trial period to work to make sure that we are not going below the current level of service that we have. And if it's possible, we'll improve the level of service. So that's the commitment that we have from staff and we are committed to continue doing with this level of service during this trial period and beyond. Any questions for me?
Any questions or comments? Councilman
Mayor.
Villalpando.
Okay, first of all, I don't know if council is aware, but we previously had gone to this type of format, Fridays off. And it didn't work because we had quite a bit of complaints from residents, not necessarily about staff, but just the availability of staff on those particular Fridays. I have a question for you, Carmen.
Mhm.
You mentioned that this is that we're trying to stay apart with other municipalities, but how many former employees left due to that particular reason that other municipalities had this type of schedule? I mean, we do exit interviews. Did anybody ever cite, or how many cited that?
Hours?
as a
No,
reason?
typically,
No, the schedule, the work schedule of every other Friday off. Did they ever cite that?
I really don't have access to those exit
Okay.
interviews. I cannot give you an exact number, but typically the employees leaving are for various reasons.
Yeah,
They go
it's-
from salary to their personal matters.
It's called the push and pull factor. I mean, I don't know if you ever read it on the push and pull factor, but it's pretty much whatever the need of that person is, they're
Exactly.
either gonna go or stay.
Mhm.
And so that's one of my concerns, is that we don't know if this is a reason, or, but you also mentioned that the court might be doing the same schedule and somebody else is gonna cover for them. Is there gonna be a cost associated to that? And also, are the employees, since we are only gonna pay for 8 hours of holiday pay, if it falls on that particular week, what are they gonna do with the other 2 hours on those particular weeks? There's some stuff that, don't get me wrong, if you guys can show me how it's all gonna be covered and it's not gonna
Ye-
hurt the city residents by us putting more money into it, then by all means, I'll support it.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna have Public Works with an additional person on call on that particular Friday, where normally we don't have anybody on call. So
Well,
it's those little things that,
let me start with the on-call and then we can move
Okay.
one by one. The on-call pay is made on a weekly basis.
Mhm.
The employees have an on-call
not
base
based on per
payment.
day.
I'm sorry?
It's not based per day.
No, it's on a weekly basis. So meaning that the
Okay.
employees, once they leave their regular hours, they're still on call. If something happens at 7, 8, or midnight,
Okay,
they're still required. So all the employees that are on call, they're on a weekly base pay.
so it's gonna transition, that base pay is still
Instead
gonna
of having 2
cover,
days of on-call, now they're gonna have 3 days of on-call,
okay,
along with their evening on-calls, because they're still required to come out if there's a broken water line or something on
okay. So
Wednesday
no
night.
increase on that portion,
I'm sorry?
no increase on that portion then.
Correct. No,
Okay,
there's no
cool.
increase. So that one is taken care of. On the court, let me see if I'm understanding correctly. You're thinking that the Friday that is closed, the court is closed,
Mhm.
we need to pay additional?
No, are we gonna pay additional? That's my question.
No, and the
Or
reason,
whoever's
well,
covering us.
Judge Torok is not here, but
Yeah.
her statement is that the courts, they have their mutual aid contract, almost like the first responders, where if the court is not available for whatever reason, there's another court that is gonna see those cases that City of Somerton will have to see.
Yeah, but, and I believe from conversation, I'm about 90% certain that before, when our previous judge used to cover that, he used to get paid for that particular coverage. Whether the city was actually reimbursed or not, that's a whole different thing.
And like I said,
And so-
Judge Torok is not here tonight,
Yeah.
but I can ask those questions. I don't have the answer for
Yeah.
that.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
So Councilman Villapando, I did talk to Judge Turek and asked her, and there is no additional fee. Something that Carmen mentioned on the mutual aid. The city of Somerton was actually helping when city of San Luis didn't have a court or they need training with their staff. We actually sent our staff to go help train or cover their court during that time. It's a whole mutual aid. It's all worked in together. They help each other out. As you might be aware, the judge is on a on-call basis, on a monthly basis for certain courts, certain things. That's all included. So are other judges in the area. So that's part of what they do, and it's covered. So I don't know if that answered your question, but again, we can get more specific on that.
No, and then that kind of covers, answers my question, but it also brings me up to some information that I requested and from our administrator, and it was never provided. And so without receiving that particular information, I'm not going to say no, but I'm not willing to approve it at this moment. And quite honestly, it's at least for me, I would table it until I receive that particular information that I requested.
Any other questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Carmen, just my question is, you said it's gonna be a 6-month trial, right? And I mean, I totally understand the retention, making it attractive. I mean, I totally get that. But how will we know at the end of 6 months if this, if this trial was successful and let's say, let's keep it, I mean, hypothetically speaking, if it gets approved, or let's not keep it because it didn't work. How are we gonna know that, okay, the level of services wasn't affected? I guess that's my only question.
What we are proposing, Councilmember Castillo, is to do the 6 months trial period, beginning in August, finalizing in February. But within those 6 months, we are putting together surveys to the customers, to the residents, internal surveys, different surveys with different information. That's a way for us to measure the level of services that we are going to be providing within those months when the hours change. We're also proposing that halfway through the 6-month period, we are going to get together, regroup, and review every single survey. So those are going to be our gauges, if you will. So that way we can focus on those areas where we are looking at deficiencies that could happen. At this point, like I said, like Councilmember Villalpando mentioned, we have had these trial periods in different occasions, not because we were wanting at the beginning, but if you remember, we had furlough days. That's how we started 15 years ago. It was a need that the city had, and we had to assist with that, meaning that we had to pay for, we have to take a day off without pay. Then COVID hit, and we continue with those alternative schedules. And during those processes, that's what helped us to understanding the challenges that we had throughout those periods, getting feedback from the residents, getting feedback from our developers, from our the vendors, the people that we do businesses with, and our employees too. So those are the ways that we have envisioned to put together. And at the end of the 6-month trial period, we're going to come back with all those results and show them to you.
And also, just another question. The majority of the services that we do have here, like let's say that residents do come in person to, let's say, to pay the water bill. Most of those services can be done online 24/7.
Correct.
what percentage of those can be done online?
Do you have that number, Sean?
I don't have a percent, Shawna Middell, Finance Director. I don't have a percentage, but all of our, all of our services can be done online. So 100% of our services as far as payment can be done online. We do also
Like
have an
kiosk, right?
outside kiosk that can be done. So 100% of our services can be done online, and we're moving even more forward into some of the softwares that we're coming up with payment systems in order to fulfill those needs. But as far as how many utilize them, the percentage wise, I do not have that.
Does
that
that
number.
include permits?
Excuse me?
Mayor,
That
permits?
will be including permits.
Mayor,
Correct.
Mayor.
They
Uh,
can pull them online?
Correct.
Yes, and that's what I wanted to mention, Councilman Villapando. The deputy city clerk has been working on this new program where business licenses and I believe other requests will be able to be done online through the new software we have. So that, like Shona mentioned, 100% of our services are available or will be available to residents. Again, we do have different metrics. We will be looking at attendance, productivity, and Carmen has some of those. But also wanted to mention that, the services, most of our services can be scheduled, but if there is a need or something that needs to be completed, our exempt staff are 24/7. So if there's a deadline, there's an appointment, something, they're going to be required to be there. Perfect example is this last weekend, we had a power outage. We had pretty much every department involved in that, from finance to public works to parks to PD to fire. They were all there. That doesn't change. Our level of service of commitment to the residents does not change. If for some reason or other, yes, we do have a lot of projects coming up, hopefully, through community development or economic development. Those come prioritized. And if it needs to be done on a Friday that's dark, we're doing it on a Friday. So that is what we're committing to and what all the department directors I have asked to lead by example. So
realistically, with with everything being online, really our residents have access to it. Our hours of operation really just, they can take care of it online, and then
It's like I said, the transition period will help us to further promote those options that we have, to educate our residents on what they can do online from the comfort of their homes. They don't have to come to City Hall. But if in the event that the need is that they need to be here at City Hall, we can make those accommodations.
Vice Mayor.
I feel comfortable, passing this. You guys did your work. You did the study. Like you mentioned, back in the days was furlough. People were off a couple of days and the business was still the same. We expected everything to go. COVID hit, it was the same. And with the new or current workforce, as well as the new generation workers demanding greater flexibility for employees, even now, if we can attend meetings, we do Zoom. So we're off, to accommodate or busy lives out of here. So I do feel that I feel comfortable, and I trust you guys that you're not gonna, this is Georgia, this is your future. So you're not just gonna throw it because you want an extra day, So I feel that you're gonna put your 100%, and like you mentioned, you're planning to do a 3 months trial, 3 months, do a survey. And I do understand, everything is, it's online. I don't do any bills. My wife does it, and she finally started doing online. But there's some seniors that don't do it online, but that's why we have those days. And they know, and we're gonna be informing them. We're not gonna leave them in the dark. So at this point, I feel comfortable. And if by any means, we feel that services, we can come to Luis and let him know, right away, but we have to let you guys, I feel that you guys did the work, and I trust you guys and I hope it works. And like I said, I guess it will be beneficial to retain and get new employees because, you know, an extra day now I can say, well, one day I don't have to pay babysitter, I don't have to drive, I can stay home, I can do my appointments with my kids or whatever, you know, so it's a, you know, we don't have a lot of people knocking on the doors we will hire somebody in 3-4 months, they'll quit on us because of better pay or better flexibility somewhere else. So I think this is a good way, but like Councilmember Villalpando is concerned, you know, we're all concerned that we don't want the level of service to go down. So I'm expecting you, you know, like we trust you, I trust you, I expect you guys the same trust, so.
And along those lines, Vice Mayor Galindo, I think the commitment that we have from the department heads to pass along their employees is of that we are committed. Everything that we do here is for the benefit of the city, but also we need to find ways to recruit and retain our employees. We don't want to continue be a revolving door where our employees come, get trained and leave us just because there's another 10 miles each way. They're giving these incentives that we, for whatever reason, we can give them. So it's important for us to stay competitive.
And I was reading somewhere in the, how many municipalities we have in the state, 43, 40 something, out of 40 something, almost 40 are doing this. They went into this after COVID. So it's a trend. It's not something new for us. So I guess we're something new for us, but it's not new for other communities.
And I just want to mention to you that I just came back from the ACMA conference, the annual conference for Arizona city managers, city and county managers. And that was one of the topic sessions about the incentives. And there are cities and towns out there that not just are putting these incentives in place, but also it was a couple of cities and towns that they presented their other incentives, their other benefits that they have there for their employees. Like, for example, the town of Oro Valley, right next to Tucson, they have a recharge room within their facilities. It's a room where employees with a lot of stress, they can go in and there's music, there's dim lights. I mean, you will not believe the creativity of these cities. And what they're doing is that they're not babysitting their employees. They're trying to retain their employees.
Let's get the old computers and get a bat.
Right. We're not asking for that much.
Yeah, and that's great that they have that type of room, but quite honestly, I mean, it's one of the other big concerns I wasn't able to touch on it is now you guys will have an additional 26 days and PTO keeps accruing. Now, I don't understand why as administrators, we don't encourage our employees to take that PTO that they have accrued. It serves two purposes. One, gives the employees a break and lets them recharge their batteries. Gives them the opportunity to do whatever they want with their families, but also it helps us because that's a liability. All the PTO that accrues from every single employee is a liability. And at 300 plus hours that they can max out, it could add up pretty quick. So this is a type of stuff. And again, along with the information that I requested from the administrator, it's not that I'm against this, but without the information that I requested, I can't sit here and say, hey, you know what? Yes, let's move forward with this. There was a bunch of questions that I had and the information that I requested. And I requested it months ago. And I never received a single bit of information. So again, for me, in order to make a decision, it's great, great that some of us have faith in staff, but when I specifically asked for information and it was never given to me, what does that tell me?
And talking back, Carmen, what we, remember I used to work for the city and we did those furloughs. And the reason we did these furloughs is because either they cut employees or everybody, another option. Well, guess what? Most of the employees says, you know what? I'd rather take a furlough than lose an employee. And that took a lot of steps from not only one employee, but it's supposed, all of them. And when we ended up taking one furlough instead of 2 or 3 out of the month, we took one, citizens were okay because there was no other thing, to do. We still had to do the customer service and things that need to be done. There's like we do, online, we also have people that, especially, the trial is going to be for 6 months. So we're going to catch, part of the summer and the same part of the winter. So we have a lot of our residents that they work on the fields. And if they miss one day to make a payment, because, they're not computer literate or whatever it is, they cannot just take half an hour and come and make a payment, but since we're going to be open at 5:30, then you have that half an hour that you can come and make that payment. So, just piggyback what Councilmember Galindo said. I know you guys did, your due diligence, getting all the ins and outs, talking to different departments. And I think, I was just telling Andrea that, the county provides, PRT for us, and we just have somebody that once a month comes and do a, it's not a massage, but it's like a, deep tissue for the stress and all that, and it feels nice, just, recharge the employees, get them back, and that doesn't mean, I understand what Councilmember Villalpando said, but at the same time, we cannot force employees to take vacation. Good thing I didn't take much of vacation because what happened recently, I had the hours to cover me so I can take care of my wife. So, I mean, if we don't have the trust between council and then yourselves, then I don't know what are we doing here. Because the reason that I run, not to see what each one is doing at your job, that's why we have a city administrator. That's his job. And then you help him out and make sure every director is doing what they're supposed to be and every employee is doing what they're supposed to be. We're adults. And we're supposed to, you're getting a paycheck, and just do your job. I don't think we need to be micromanaging and what you do or not. I know Louis comes back and tell us what's going on. He gives us updates every Friday, and if it's more important, twice a week. I think we need to be competitive with other cities. I worked for this city before. And the reason I left is because better stuff than here. It's sadly to say, but yes. And if we have an opportunity to do something, even though it's going to be a trial, we're not going to say it's going to be forever, but we're going to try it. If it doesn't work, then good, it doesn't work. But at least we gave it a try and we have the opportunity to the employees so they can see what, So, I know, some don't feel comfortable, but I feel comfortable with this and working myself for the county and, the different things that it can be done. And also, being part of the city council, what we can do for our city employees, I'll take my chance. You guys proven that you guys can do what, your job and why not? So.
Any other questions or comments?
Mayor, with that said, I would like to make a motion to approve. Is it a resolution or just the,
No, just the motion.
Implementation of new hours.
okay, the implementation of new hours, Mayor?
So motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Galindo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
2 nays and 5 Gonzalez. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, and just Carmen, you mentioned on the new benefits that other cities are providing their employees. Look at that, and I know we have a committee for benefits. If we do, bring it there, and whatever makes sense for Somerton. We say that so we're the best little city in Arizona, so we also got to be the best little city to work for. So we can implement some of those new benefits that are, maybe if it makes sense for Somerton, look at it, bring it to council and see if what they are.
Let's get those grants.
Let's get those grants.
And
No pressure.
By the way.
And I can understand Councilman Villalpando's nothing more frustrated than when you request information and it's not provided. So make sure that we provide the information not just to him, but to all of council that he requested. And we'll revisit it, what, in 6 months?
Yep.
Okay. 3 months?
3 months.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to new business, discussion of possible action to approve implement, oh, no, that's going back. Item 8.2, discussion of possible action to approve modification of scope of work of CIP plan.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Tonight, we're talking about the discussion of possible action to approve the modification of the scope of work on the capital improvement program for West Main Street electrification to update project to continue equipment replacement for existing pathway solar lights. The West Main Street pathway light replacement program estimates were originally budgeted in the FY '24. When procuring this project, the amount was priced higher than originally budgeted. After discussion with administration, it was proposed to change the CIP scope of work to remain with the solar battery option. A request for the change of CIP scope of work to install new solar batteries and new light heads that will be installed for better illumination at a lower budget amount. Public Works was provided 3 quotes and 2 have said that the solar light option was not conducive. However, in further consultation and review with electrical companies, they have stated that through a trial period, which we did try, this trial period of the installation and the battery head replacement would be a recommendation and cost savings to the city. The Public Works staff is requesting to procure and install new batteries and LED heads for existing light poles not to exceed $14,100. Also at the same time requesting that we will be painting the light poles, the colors matched to the Main Street and Toro Avenue. We have submitted 2 quotes and 1 unresponsive vendor. The request is not to exceed $5,900. So the total amount budgeted for this project request is not to exceed $20,000 for the entire project. Under further investigation with the electrical company, we got them, they're pretty much guaranteeing that this is going to be about a 4-year battery life. So at about 2.5 years, 3 years, we will be revisiting this to see where we're at with the actual battery life, to see how we're going to proceed, if we need to electrify it, or can we remain staying at the battery option, or the next phase, what we want to do with the lights. Tonight's motion is to approve the recommendation to approve the scope of work for the construction improvement program, West Main Street pathway solar light replacement to be approved for O&M electrical service not to exceed $14,100, and repaint the light poles to Abby's Painting LLC not to exceed $5,900. Thank you.
Any questions or comments?
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, Councilman Villalpando.
Charles, a while back, then we'd have discussions that it'd probably be best to go electric versus replacing these batteries just because of life expectancy of the batteries.
So one of the things that we did when I started here, we started looking at getting quotes and stuff like that. Originally it was budgeted about $130,000. They far exceeded that. They were up to almost $300,000 just to electrify it. So we really wouldn't be getting too far. So that's when we started talking to the contractors. What would be our best option to look at this? What are our options? And one of the best options was to go ahead and light them back up with a bigger illuminated head and better batteries. One of the things that happened was the batteries, the way they were assembled inside the poles, there was too much battery space in there, not enough room for them to breathe properly. And so they're overheating. So in talking with the electrical company, they said they found a better way that's going to be a little cooler. They're the better batteries. They're way different batteries than what they are right now. So it's a little bit more conducive for us to go this direction and with the LEDs. And then if we need to revisit this again, and we're going to have to revisit this again in about 3 years, my guess is come back with another option. And if it works out great, we'll keep going this direction because it's fairly relatively inexpensive. Just to replace the head and the batteries, $20,000. If we can go for, he's estimating about 4 to 6 years. He said solid 4 years. So,
Okay, the life expectancy?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Villalpando, second by Councilman Roldan. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 8.3, discussion of possible action to approve the Kroger settlement agreement.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Chona Medell, Finance Director. This item is to discuss and potentially approve the submission of Kroger settlement agreement. This agreement has undergone a thorough review by the city attorney and must be submitted by July 31st, 2024. The Kroger settlement agreement forms part of a broader national opioid settlement incentive. It resembles the opioid settlement claims currently being processed by the Yuma County. It's important to note that the specific agreement applies exclusively to Kroger companies and does not overlap the companies covered under the Yuma County State Opioid Settlement. If approved, staff will collaborate closely with our city attorneys to finalize and submit the agreement. And there is a memo attached to the item from Pierce Coleman summarizing the key points of this very large multi-paged document. So any questions in regards to this?
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
So movement.
So motion by Vice Mayor Galindo,
Second.
second by Councilman Castillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Summary of current events.
Okay, Mayor, first we have Chief Juarez isn't here, but Lieutenant Garza.
Speaking of that,
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. My name is Jose Garza, Lieutenant with the Somerton Police Department. Chief is out of town in Flagstaff. I had a chief's convention for most of the week, I believe. I think she comes back Friday. I think so. She wanted to share that this past weekend, we participated in the Regional Center for Border Health San Luis Walking Clinic's 26th annual Nuestro Niños and Nuestra Comunidad Health Fair. It was hot, but they did have a lot of the community, not as many as I think we wanted to. There, they handed out backpacks. They had physicals for sports coming up here with school coming into session here real soon, and vaccinations as well. Some of the things coming up for the rest of the month that she would like for me to share. It's taken a while, but this week we initiated or launched our Ebola Wrap, which is, if you're familiar, it's another tool for us to assist, not really to assist our community and our officers and make it a little bit safer for all of us, especially with dealing with an increase with mental health issues. I think it'll provide nationwide, we've seen a very positive thing with less injuries close to the subjects and our officers. This coming Sunday, our explorers are going to be participating in a academy that's being hosted by the United States Border Patrol's Welton Station. They're going to be housed 7 days at one of the elementaries in Welton. So we'll have staff there as well. I think we'll have a body there throughout the week, and it's 24 hours. We've done it in the past, usually at MCIS, and very successful for our kids. So we're very excited for them. I think we're sending 7 of them. Last, we've been working on it internally, trying to figure out our frontline online portal to our community. We're hoping to launch that August 1st. with the assistance we Jasmine and some of our other people to help logistics of it up to our community, but we are looking these reports, register loved ones with us, give vacation watches on. They can still do it the old fashioned way, call us and we'll be happy to do it that way. We'll do the entries ourselves. Nice. Did we even file a
Thank you. Thank you, Danny. Next, we have Charles Gutierrez, Public Works.
Tonight, the street division, the beautification of Main Street, painted the benches, trash cans, trying to make. As you notice on the other side of Central Health, damaging the sidewalk, bringing the major safety hazard. Notice at the schools where we striking all the crosswalks. And then obviously on this past Friday, we had a wet fill that was hit by a contractor. We all came together as a team for fire, public works, parks, rec staff. Vanessa came out there and took pictures. We all worked together to ensure the safety and welfare of all the residents. We were ready for any incident. I would like to thank both chief and PD and the fire who was there, providing water and Gatorade for us, just more support and fight. And then finally, on Thursday, July 18th, 2024, 7:30 a.m., public water yard. We'll be doing the river ceremony. We'll officially open the water tank. Thank you.
Jasmine Zamudio, Economic Development.
Valeria, the pleasure of meeting the new PR personnel for Aloe Fiber. One of the Aloe core values is supporting local businesses and community events. We provided them with information regarding sectors and plan to collaborate together with them. The second being our previous event, the 4th of July celebration, was well attended. According to X-Ray Eye, the event attracted 9.8 people with an average dwell time of 251 minutes. Oh, sorry.
No, nobody came. The pictures were fake.
9.8 thousand people with an average dwell time of 251 minutes, which is 4 hours and 11 minutes what they spent here. This represents a 50.7% year attendance, which was 6.5 thousand. So, very
Mayor, yeah, that was 9.8 thousand. No, I just want to close with thanking all the departments. We've had 2 incidents this past month, last month, and very proud of the staff for taking the calls, being prepared, trying to be as reactive and proactive in what's going on. We do have some things to address to make sure that those things get better. But very, very grateful and thankful for our department directors and all our staff. That's all we have, Mayor.
Councilwoman Gonzalez. Councilman Castillo.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Councilwoman Delgadillo.
I have nothing as well.
Councilman Roldan.
Just shout out to the water department, there was a outage there where I live and they took care of it, letting the citizens in that area know and knocking doors and so forth. And that was, got good comments from that they took the time to let them know, and at the same time, let them know when the water came back. So just let Leo and the team to let them know that they pretty good job.
I don't have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Just want to thank all those departments from Friday, from the light pole that came down. They were ready. They had over 20 cases of waters. We have the shelter ready. They were ready to send mass emails, information to the public if they needed somewhere, a place to go to cool. You know, we have that place. So Cesar Neboy, we have a shelter ready, okay? So you can put that on the news. Thank you, that's it. You want to send interviews?
We're gonna host the forefront meeting here on the 29th. So all the cities are gonna be here at July 29th. And we don't have our next meeting till the 6th, so we have a long break. I'm gonna miss all you guys. See, enjoy. So with that said, it's 8:21, meeting's adjourned.
Mayor, think of it.